gentlemen, good evening, Biafrans all over the world. Good evening, the press that have gathered here. Good evening, friends of Biafrans and lovers of freedom. I greet all of you from a location. Today's topic is we must use our gun against the Nigeria terrorists. And of course, the Declaration of Independence, Biafra. I want to encourage Biafrans all over the world to stand very, very strong. I want to encourage the Biafra Defense Forces to hold their gun very strong. And they must stand on their ground. There is only one reason you have a gun. The reason is to fight and defend the land of Biafra. The second is to make sure those who come to kill our women doesn't come again and kill and go free. The third is to make sure that our children are protected. And also, we have the reason to go to our farmland and come back without getting killed. These reasons, you must be able post the Declaration of Independence, Biafra. I want to encourage Biafrans all over the world to stand very, very strong. I want to encourage the Biafra Defense Forces to hold their gun very strong. And they must stand on their ground. There is only one reason you have a gun. The reason is to fight and defend the land of Biafra. The second is to make sure those who come to kill our women doesn't come again and kill and go free. The third is to make sure that our children are protected. And also, we have the reason to go to our farmland and come back without getting killed. These reasons, you must be able to make sure that your guns continue to remain in your hand, irrespective of whatever. As we are getting closer and closer to the declaration of the restoration of independence of Biafra, coming December 2nd, I want you to understand that in the coming days, there is going to be a lot of propaganda, a lot of lies, media propaganda, manipulation. You must not fall for it. You must not fall a victim of their media propaganda. Simon Ekpa is standing very strong on this planet Earth. I am marching strongly, getting stronger day by day. And I want to assure you that Simon Ekpa is not moved by any shenanigan, by any propaganda or name calling. I have decided to come this evening for this emergency space briefing to encourage Biafra people to understand that we are already at the end of the tunnel. And all you should focus on is making sure that the Biafra Defense Forces are well funded to be able to meet the challenges that is ahead of them in the coming months. I am here also to respond to the propaganda that they have been writing against the Finnish foreign minister. I want you to understand that Simon Ekpa is not breaking any law. The Biafra government in exile and both in the homeland has never broken any law. And we will continue to increase the pressure and the defense of our land brutally. Nigeria is a terrorist state, and so anybody fighting Nigeria to defend themselves must be well prepared and equipped. And that's exactly what we have done. We have equipped the Biafra Defense Forces to brutally defend our land. If we don't do that, Nigeria will eliminate us. Nigeria will wipe our history away. But this evening, I've just come to give a special briefing of the Finnish independence, because many of you do not know actually what Finland went through. Today, Nigeria, terrorist state, is planning to do what other people have done. What they plan to do is to enact laws. To enact law that will put fear and instill fear in those people that are fighting for their freedom and even agitating for whatever structure in Nigeria. What they try to do is what other people have done in the past. Russia did it. We were told that they enacted a law that those who are agitating for freedom will go to 25 years imprisonment. I want you to understand that it's a badge of honor. You must be very proud that you are part of the movement that have broken the camel's back, and they will make them to always do the mistake of enacting laws in quest to quench the agitation for the independent state of Biafra. It means that the liberation of Biafra has attained a certain level that it has never attained even after the Biafra War, because after the war, they did not think of enacting a law prohibiting or saying that anybody who agitates for Biafra again will be put to 25 years imprisonment. Owazirike came, they didn't enact the law. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu came, they didn't enact the law. They kidnapped him, and then the Biafra agitation changed with real fighters. And today, they are enacting law that if you are agitating for Biafra, you are going to be jailed 25 years. Do not panic. We will never allow you or allow that such law to take effect. As a matter of fact, they think that we are actually joking in the freedom fighting. The declaration of Biafra is coming. So that law has no jurisdiction over any Biafran born on this planet. It will not. Now let me tell you something. You know, Finland declared its independence on the 6th of December 1917. But today, I want to tell you some of the secrets and some of the stories that you were never told about Finland. Now, I will somehow educate some of you on the history of Finland, what Finland went through. The proclamation of the Empress Elizabeth from 1742. Subject of the independence of Finland. This independence of Finland was first mentioned in the 18th century, when present-day Finland was still ruled by the Sweden. Do you know that Finland was part of Sweden before Sweden ceded Finland to Russia? How many of you are aware? Finland to Russia? You don't know. How many of you are aware that Finland was part of Sweden before? You don't before know. Sweden you don't know Finland that to Russia. Before Sweden ceded to Russia. And on the 18th March 1742, during the Russia occupation in the Russia-Swedish War between 1741 to 1743, the Empress Elizabeth of Russia issued a proclamation in the Finnish language to the Finnish people, asking them to create a Finland which would be independent from both Sweden and Russia in later years. This particular proclamation led to the preparation to create a kingdom of Finland in 1742. The Elizabeth nephew, Duke Peter of Helsing-Gottorp, who later became heirs to the throne of Russia, and Peter III was proclaimed King of Finland. However, the political situation outgrows the idea of Finnish kingdom, and the concept quickly evaporated. I want you to pay attention. They had from 1742 until 1788. There was another thing called the Angela Conspiracy. The Angela Conspiracy was a scam in 1788, between 1788 to 1790, as a response to the end Gustav III Russia War. And it included the independence of Finland to some degree. Several people involved were linked to the one-ordained Russian occupation and the plundering of the 1713 to 21 Greater Rot. This still in vivid memory when Finns waged partisan warfare against the Russians. A man called George Magnus, who took no direct part in the conspiracy, had written a proposal for a Finnish constitution. That was in 1786. This particular person later had a role in forming the autonomous Grand Duchy of Finland within the Russian Empire. That is what we have formed today, the de facto government. It's just a replica of what you know as the Grand Duchy of Finland. Within the Russian Empire, as he became the first Governor General of Finland after Sweden ceded the rest of Finland to Russia. And this was in 1809, at the conclusion of the Finnish War. Now, Finland started what they call the rise of national identity. This was according to Professor Heiko, before a nation declares independence. I want you Biafrans to pay attention to the Prime Minister of the Republic of Biafra and Biafra in exile, government in exile, and of course the de facto government in homeland. Before a nation declares independence, it must develop a national identity and certain institutions. That is exactly what the Biafra government in exile and the homeland have done today. We have been able to develop more of the Biafra identity, national identity, and of course, many institutions of Biafra government. Governing bodies for Finland were developed after 1809, when it was elevated as a nation among nations. As declared by Alexander I, by becoming an autonomous Grand Duchy under the Russian Tsar. The date of Finland met regularly from 1863. The national identity grows simultaneously with the pan-European nationalism. Ronderberg and Lenroth created an idealized image of Finnish people and Finnish nature in the 1830s and 1840s. Also, the Snellman was a central person in national romanticism and modern nationality debate. He encouraged the use of the Finnish language instead of Swedish. Among the educated classes, during the Finland language strife, the Finnish mark was introduced as currency. Today, the Biafrans have introduced a gemma, exactly the roadmap, even when our own become very complex. While the Finnish introduced the mark as currency. We have introduced the Gemma in this process. This particular mark was introduced in 1860 by the Bank of Finland. Today, Biafra has Bank of Biafra. I've introduced the Gemma Biafra coin. This particular mark, which Snellman pegged to silver instead of the ruble. During the famine of 1866, Snellman worked to obtain aid and distribute it in a country with low resources and undeveloped communication. I want you people to understand, I'm not going to give you the entire history of Finland, but there is a reason I have come this evening to tell you that I have become a stone. I have become a stone, and I will be the end of this whole thing. We will hand over freedom to our unborn generation. Not fight, not agitation, not liberation. We are handing over freedom to them. And if you find yourself in the midst of the generation that Samonekpa is leading today, you must be very proud of yourself. Today, our motto of freedom or die is Nigerians, we are not, or we are no more. Southeasterners, as Nigeria gave it to us, we cannot become. Biafrans, we must be. I want you to understand that in 18th century, the Finn adopted what they call the phenomenon motto. The phenomenon motto was, Swedes, we are no more. Russians, we cannot become. Therefore, Finns, we must be. Biafra are replicating this today, on this day, 14th day of August 2024, that Nigerians, we are no more. Southeasterners, we cannot become. Therefore, Biafrans, we must be. It is going to go from here going forward, our freedom or die motto and slogans. My fellow Biafrans, something may shock you today to know that even from the 1917 discussion, the first period of Russification of Finland, in the 1899, with the February Manifesto, a legislative act given by Nicholas II, when Nikolai was the Governor General of Finland. As a response, the cultural address pro Finlandia was gathered with 523,000 names. I am telling you today that Finland conducted self-referendum in the name of pro-Finlandia signatures. Today, you can call it a referendum. They gathered 523,000 names that is supporting the freedom and independence of Finland. They gathered these names, and a delegation of 500 people was sent to St. Petersburg to deliver the signature of 500.
Over 15 million votes.
Do you understand me? They took this step by themselves because Russia will never give them independence. They conducted the referendum themselves, gathered 523,000 signatures. Today, Biafra have gathered over 50 million signatures. Can you beat that? I am telling you, I will be the end of this whole thing. Forget all the nonsense in propaganda on social media. I am here physically. Finland gathered 523,000 names to declare independence. Biafra has gathered 50 million. 50 million Biafrans are still counting. After the Finland gathered 520,000 people, they sent 500 delegates to Russia. With those names, they gathered to St. Petersburg to deliver it. The King Resistance Movement formed at this time in the 1901 in Russia tried to alter the nature of the Finnish army. I want you to understand that as Finland was gathering 523,000 names, they already formed the Liberation Army of Finland. Today, you can call them the Liberation Army of Finland. And in response to that, Russia formed what they call the Kagao resistance movement. They formed this movement at that time in Russia. They tried to alter the nature of the Finnish army with a new conscription law. This is something Nigeria is doing today, wanting to enact a law that will say anybody who is agitating for freedom will go 25 years. Russia did it to Finland. They want to enact a law called the conscription law in order to alter the army of Finland. They call it conscription law, which demanded that Finns not only defend Finland, but also fight for Russia on any front. You understand? They wanted to carry Finland by force by enacting a law. What Nigeria is doing today is exactly what Russia have done. My people just believe in what I'm doing. You see, Nigeria will bring it down this year. Nigeria needed to go down for people to survive. Now, Finnish resistance grow into a mass movement. Are you listening to me? Because of this, Finnish resistance moved into a mass movement, and only half of the eligible men reported for duty. The Bobrikov was shot in 1904 by Egon, who shot himself afterward. The Finnish newspaper, Päivalehti, which had been censored before, was closed permanently as a result of the editorial written about the assassination. Now, listen and listen attentively. The man who composed the Biafra national anthem, who is a Finnish man called Juan Sibelius, composed in memory of Skelman, his steamship SS John Grafton unsuccessfully attempted to smuggle large quantity of arms for the Finnish resistance during the Russo-Japan's War of 1904 to 1905. Even this Finland, people try to smuggle guns to give to Finland for their resistance army. The same thing we are doing today in Biafra land. It is a fight for survival. Today, people are bringing guns to Biafra to support us because we don't deserve to die. My fellow Biafrans, during the 1905 to 1908, a man called Leo formed a government and created a liberal democracy within the universal right to vote. Are you listening to me? A man called Leo Mechlin formed a government and created a liberal democracy with the universal right to vote and be elected. In 1906, the unicameral parliament of Finland was created with universal and equal suffrage. However, the power of the parliament was limited by the term from the 1908 to 1916. Now, I want everybody to pay attention. The second period of Russification of Finland. In 1908, World War I led activist group to unite. Under Franz Albert, Bobrikov, successors of the Governor General, all legislation was moved to the Russian State Duma, which then pushed for laws restricting Finnish autonomy. Are you listening? They pushed for another law restricting Finnish autonomy. This is something that Nigeria, they are debating today, but they have made their end. Russia demanded higher payment, and the Senate of Finland was replaced with the Admiral Senate or a suburb Senate. Nicholas II pushed the complete Russification and the end of the Finnish autonomy in 1914. While Nigeria was being amalgamated forcefully, fraudulently in 1914, the end of the Russification of Finland started. the Finnish autonomy end of the Finnish autonomy started in 1914 in quest to stop Finnish freedom. But this was halted by the beginning of the First World War. The Jaguar movement was formed and sent first 200 and later 1,900 Finnish volunteers to Germany to be trained as Jaguars, a light infantry, for armed resistance. Are you listening to me? For armed resistance. The Finnish Jaguar formed 27 Jaguar Battalion. By the way, I served in the Jaguar Battalion of the Hammer Regiment in Finland, because we don't deserve to die. My fellow Biafrans, during the 1905 to 1908, a man called Leo formed a government and created a liberal democracy within the universal right to vote. Are you listening to me? A man called Leo Mechlin formed a government and created a liberal democracy with the universal right to vote and be elected. In 1906, the unicameral parliament of Finland was created with universal and equal suffrage. However, the power of the parliament was limited by the term from the 1908 to 1916. Now, I want everybody to pay attention. The second period of Russification of Finland. In 1908, World War I led activist group to unite. Under Franz Albert, Bob Ricot, successors of the Governor General, all legislation was moved to the Russian State Duma, which then pushed for laws restricting Finnish autonomy. Are you listening? They pushed for another law restricting Finnish autonomy. This is something that Nigeria, they are debating today, but they have made their end. Russia demanded higher payment, and the Senate of Finland was replaced with the Admiral Senate or a suburb Senate. Nicholas II pushed the complete Russification and the end of the Finnish autonomy in 1914. While Nigeria was being amalgamated forcefully, fraudulently in 1914, the end of the Russification of Finland started. Finnish autonomy end of the Finnish autonomy started in 1914 in quest to stop Finnish freedom. But this was halted by the beginning of the First World War. The Jaguar movement was formed and sent first 200 and later 1,900 Finnish volunteers to Germany to be trained as Jaguars, a light infantry, for armed resistance. Are you listening to me? For armed resistance. The Finnish Jaguar formed 27 Jaguar Battalion. By the way, I served in the Jaguar Battalion of the Hammer Regiment in Finland. It's a historic battalion, as you're just hearing today. That was where I served in the Finnish military. The Jaguar Elite Infantry for armed resistance. The Finnish Jaguar formed the 27th Jaguar Battalion and were eventually sent to Libau to fight against Russia Empire. Sibelius composed Jaguar March lyrics written by Haig, who served in the 27th Battalion. Now, I want all of you to understand that the February and October Revolution in 1917 ignited hope in the Grand Duchy of Finland. The revolution for Biafra hope is coming, and believe me, 1 month lockdown of the Nigeria institution is part of it. After the abduction of one of the men called Nicholas II on the march, second march, just like they abducted Martin Ambikano. All these things you see today did not start from Biafra. They also abducted those who were also in the forefront of the freedom in Finland in those days. The Persian union between Russia and Finland lost its legal base, at least according to the view in Helsinki. Exactly how everything have lost its legal base between Biafra and Nigeria, according to Biafrans in Biafran land. The same thing was applicable to Finland. As he was the Grand Duke of Finland, just the way Martin Ambikano is the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. This man called Nicholas II was the Duke, the Grand Duke of Finland. Now, when he was adopted, the negotiation began between the Russian provisional government and Finnish authorities. That led to Power Act. The resulting proposal approved by the Russian provisional government was heavily rewritten in the Finnish parliament and transformed into so-called the Power Pact. I want you people to understand that even though we are not copying what Finland did, but there are similarities in it. And the history can go on and on and on. Similarity of the step and the template we are taking today to liberate you Biafra people from Nigeria and get you independent and get you lasting peace is almost similar to the Finland pathway to freedom. Today we have broken records as a government in exile and a government in the homeland controlling the territory of Biafra. And today we have recorded 50 million. I want you to tell me anywhere in the history of this world where a government in exile and controlling the de facto government have been able to conduct a referendum, beating and smarting the evil government in the homeland and having people in millions to vote. Today we recorded over 50 million votes. And the vote still goes on till November because of the situation on ground. We make sure that everybody will be given the opportunity to participate in giving their signature on Biafra referendum. Today, we are winning. And they are running, sending assassins to Finland, sending suicide bombers to Finland. And when they fail, they run back to Finnish authority each time they see them come to Africa. My fellow Biafrans, the people you saw being interviewed as the ministers from the Nordic country did not come to Nigeria because of Simon Ekpa. They came for the African Union or ECOWAS meeting. And of course, Nigeria Islamic and Caliphate state, Nigeria terrorist state, and their nincompoop media, they will not ask relevant questions. They are always after Simon Ekpa. They went and asked the Finnish Minister of Foreign Affairs, Elena, who is a very noble woman, about Simon Ekpa. They left the problem of Nigeria. They left the insecurity that Nigerian military have recruited Boko Haram and they are killing people in northern Nigeria. They are killing people in the Middle Belt. They are killing people in Biafra land, of which you are resisting. They left all the insecurity that Nigerian army, police, and all of them have created, kidnapping, abduction, killing, and all that. They left those concerns. They left the concern that Nigerians are protesting for hunger. They left those concerns, and their only concern is Simon Ekpa. What are you doing, Finland, to capture Simon Ekpa? I am telling you today, I am here, and nobody will capture me. I will fight this thing till the end of it, and Biafra will be declared here in Finland. And it will happen in the presence of all of you, and you will see how God is going to use me to save Biafrans from the hand of the Islamic jihadist government and terrorist government of Nigeria. I want you to understand that after Finland declared independence, they had a problem. They had a problem, oh my people, a problem of recognition. This same recognition that we are fighting today. Finland had a problem. And you know how many times they have declared independence in Finland? There was another declaration of 15 November. There was another declaration of the 1917. And November 27. 1917. So the declaration on the 15th of November, which actually changed everything about Finland pathway to freedom. Irving formed a Senate, which started on November 27, 1917. Its goal was to execute independence as soon as possible. The Senate returned to the Parliament with a declaration of independence and a proposal for the new Republican instrument of government on the 4th of December. The Declaration of Independence was technically given to the form of preamble of the proposition and was intended to be agreed upon by the Parliament. Parliament adopted the declaration on 6th December with 100 votes against 88. Do you understand that this Finland today, 88% voted against the Declaration of Independence of Finland, while 100% voted for it? So minus 88 from 100. How many did they give you? 12 or 22 was the winning number for the declaration of the independent state of Finland. Do you understand? They won the vote with 12%. Ordinary 12. Ordinary 12. It was 100 against 88. So 88 Finnish people say, no to the declaration. Today, the same people who don't know this history, or maybe who know this history, will be telling you how certain person will be sitting on the national television and telling you, we are not for Biafra, I am an Igbo man, I am a Jaw, we are not for Biafra, but in Finland, 100 voted yes, and 88 voted no. Only 12 changed the fate of Finland today. This thing that all of us are joining today, only 12% make the difference. Now, after the declaration after the voting of 100 to 88 on the December of 1917, with reference to the declaration of 15th of November, are you listening? In the new declaration says, I want you to understand, the Finnish people, or the people of Finland, have by this step taken their fate into their own hands. Are you hearing me? After they voted by 100 to 88, they have the declaration wording, and it reads like this. The people of Finland have by this step, the step they are taken by voting to declare Biafra, which is exactly what we are going to replicate in Finland on the 2nd of December. After gathering our vote, we're going to count them, and we're going to know how many people have voted for Biafra. Now, a step both justified and demanded by present condition. Their present condition justify the step they have taken by voting to declare independence. They say that it is not only the condition, but also the present condition demanded by this present condition justify the means, justify the fact that they have voted for the declaration of independence of Finland. The people of Finland know deeply that they cannot fulfill their national and international duty without complete sovereignty. The same thing we, the Biafra people, are feeling today that made Simon Ekpa to become a terrorist, according to them. The reason why Simon Ekpa is the bad person in the eye of the enemy who have killed our people before the emergence of Simon Ekpa is because with Nigeria, Biafrans continue to be in Nigeria. We, the Biafra people, will never ever fulfill our national and international duty without a complete sovereignty of Biafra state. That is the reason why Simon Ekpa and the Biafra government is doing what we are doing today. We have every potential to become the best in the world. We cannot attain this potential under Nigeria. Apart from the security issue, apart from the killing, the annihilation, the massacre and mass murder of the Biafra people, the marginalization, we can never ever attain our national and international duty without complete sovereignty nation of Biafra. The century-old desire for freedom awaits fulfillment now. This was the word of the Declaration of Independence State of Finland. This exact thing we will do in Biafra and for Biafra and in Finland in the convention. Now, Finland's people step forward as a free nation among the other nations in the world. The people of Finland dare to confidentially await how other nations in the world recognizes that with their full independence and freedom, the people of Finland can do their best in fulfillment of those purposes that will win them a place amongst civilized people. Are you listening? Now, after the declaration of Finland, a man called the Svenskvold immediately asked Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Germany, France to recognize Finland independence. The West, however, these countries, said they would wait until the former ruler, Russia, recognized the declaration. They did not recognize Finland. They didn't recognize Finland, though. They told Svenskvold to talk to Lenin Bolshevik government of Russia. The Svenskvold was hesitant to do this. He was hesitant to even talk to the government of Russia, as he did not want to recognize the Bolshevik as the legal ruler of Russia. He don't want to contact the Russian leader then because he don't recognize him as the Russian leader. But they asked him, Germany, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, asked him to contact the Russian government to recognize Finland's declaration. He refused to do that. Are you listening? However, after this, he thought that the Bolshevik government would probably fall soon. So he was believing that the Russian government then will fall. So the parliament decided to ask for the recognition from the Russian Constituent Assembly. Germany, which was middle of peace negotiation with Soviet Russia, pressured Finland to talk to Lenin and the Council of the People Commissioners. Svenskvold followed the advice as Finland wanted Germany's recognition as soon as possible. On December 18th, the Soviet-Russian government issued a decree recognizing Finland independence. And on 2nd December to January, it was approved by the highest Soviet executive body, the All-Russian Central Executive Committee. This how meeting is told Svenskvold biography. Now, I want you people to understand that we are not expecting Nigeria, to agree and recognize Biafra after declaration. That's why we have guns to defend ourselves. That is going to happen. Now, they are already killing our people even before we started. They are already enacting law to jail you 25 years even before we started. So we are not expecting Nigeria to recognize our self-referendum. We're not expecting them, but we're going to approach them to that immediately after the declaration. My people of Biafra, the roadmap to Biafra freedom and independence is very clear. I don't know what is it that you do not understand on the template that Samanekpa is using. I am the pilot of this Biafra movement today. I am the pilot of the liberation of Biafra, and I am standing very strong. And I said, I will not pass this war onto our children. I will rather pass the freedom of Biafra and the freedom of speech and the freedom of association onto our unborn children. That's what I'm fighting. And this year, 2nd of December, will be the beginning of a new dawn and a new life and a path to peace, a pathway to peace and everlasting peace and everlasting peace and everlasting peace and everlasting and lasting peace in our region and within our people and within ourselves. My fellow Biafrans, I will take a few questions. Thank you for listening to this particular history. speech today and education for those who are shouting Finland is bringing Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa is not going anywhere. I will be here and finish this fight and free my people. Thank you.
Yes, 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 yes. Lovely Biafrans. It is good that
The media team, over to you, please.
When you are, it is good when you are fighting, or you see that Biafrans are fighting to free themselves. It is good for you to know the background history. All the names he mentioned, those that fought for Finland freedom, we have researched all of them, but because of network and because of time, we didn't bring them out. But at least we have brought a little. When you watch PM, when he is doing the time he used to do broadcast, there is a badge he used to wear here. And if you go close to that badge, you will see this lion head there. This jaguar head. That is where he served as a military. Now, our question is Simon Banjoko the only Biafran person that has the opportunity to study abroad? And the people you found inside the government, is he the only person that the only thing we are doing today now is we are taking advantage of his power and his studies? That is the thing. If you go all over the world and enter inside most of the important offices all over the world, you will find Igbo people, you will find Biafrans at large controlling their businesses, controlling technology, controlling science, controlling everything, controlling even their agriculture, controlling their law. A lot of Biafrans are in Great Britain, lawmakers. But on what is happening today, we have come to understand that English speaking, you that speak English, it doesn't give you any sense. What gives you sense is that when you listen, you can be able to calculate on how your people will benefit from your education. Education is not a matter of speaking British English. Education matters on what you have just watched today. And because we are having another meeting, Biafran Religious Freedom and Monitoring are having meeting in the next 30 minutes, we will keep this message like this here. We just play the historical part of it. But remember, those who is watching here now, there is one thing we have to tell you. The day Simon Ekpa came to this struggle, he said that he has come to make history. He has come to join those that is fighting for Biafra to make history. When Biafra will be finally liberated, this Jaguar Battalion will immortalize the Biafran Prime Minister Simon Ekpa as one of their students, as one of their soldiers that used what he learned from them to liberate his own nation called Biafra. That is the sense of repeating this history in this place. Again, those people that is thinking that Finland will let our prime minister listen. When they went and interviewed him before, they asked him, who is funding you? He told the world that when you come to every Friday, One them no life. Come protect. So he told them that every Saturday you see people coming to contribute, funding the liberation. These are the people that is fighting. And these same people has given him more than 50 million voters. So let us tell you exactly what is happening. Why we even come yesterday to explain before PM come online. International community can never. They say you have to go towards judicial process. Judicial process is before you can lay your hands on PM, you must go and arrest all the people that has been donating their money online. And the Webike majority carry the vote. Children are donating, adults are donating, women are donating, men are donating. All over the world is donating money for their own freedom. So, country like Finland, even when our leader Mazen Nambekano is in London, London government cannot arrest him because they know that if they touch him, they will go against the law. Finnish government say you have to pass towards judicial process before you can lay your hands on him. Meaning, before you can arrest the prime minister, elected prime minister, for defending his own land and his own people, Musa, the chief of army staff of the terrorist zoo, said they have seen many people, millions of people online donating money to fund their own liberation. Meaning that before you can lay your hands on our PM, you have to arrest everybody that is a Biafran. And when you calculate it, then you see that his arrest is no go area. So Biafrans, what we have just come to record here today is PM is making history not only in Biafra, but in Finland. This Jaguar Battalion is coming to endorse him again and they give him award. You know, little he has done, they gave him the Universal Ambassador for Peace. You understand? And if you know the importance of history, then you can be able to understand what we played here today. Thank you, lovers of freedom. And we have to stop it here. Invite people and let them know. If you study, whether you study in the zoo speaking English or you study outside, if you are not supporting your own freedom, your education is meaningless. Your education is valueless. And if you say that you are rich, you have money, you are Obi Kubano, you are chief priest, you are Flavor, you are P Square, you are this, you are that, you are not supporting Biafran freedom, which is your own particular freedom, your money is valueless in our eyes. If you come to Biafran exile, you will see Biafran finance minister. He has more than 3 football clubs in America, meaning that when you want to compare him, you have to compare him with the people like Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid, the people that own football club. He is there in the Biafran government in exile as the finance minister, making sure that his own money favored his own people. The prime minister, if you go to Google, you will type his wealth, everything he has, everything is registered there. More than $5 million, more than $10 million, but all of them remove sleep out of their own eyes, keep fighting for your own freedom. So if you say you are rich, you are not supporting Biafra, your money is just paper, valueless as a human being born in Biafran land, or you are answering Igbo person, but you are not supporting this movement. You should be ashamed of yourself. And if you say that you went to school, you are a graduate, you have master degree, PhD degree holder, but you are not bringing it out to support this movement, man, you are just holding ordinary paper. You understand? The people who is making history is the people we know. If there is no history, you will not be able to read Bible. The people you are reading in the Bible are the people that made history and they keep it on record. That's why when PM come here, he say he has come to make history. And we are telling you that this Jaguar Battalion will later immortalize him and his cabinet members. Are you understanding? So, lovers of freedom, that is what we brought to you today, in order for everyone to know that we are doing it. When he tell you about the referendum and how they gather together, we made a research. We are not just the people that we hear and they forget everything. We will go and make research. We read about them. We bring them out to the public for public to know exactly what we are doing. We are bringing the history to our people with the evidence. These are all you heard him say. Everything you hear our PM say yesterday and what you see us repeat now, this is the history. These are the history of what you heard him say. All the names he mentioned, if you look here, if you look in this place, we went through Google and searched all the names he mentioned in this place, and we found out the real history of Finland. Again, white people like anybody that is very proud of their history. And when he tells you that he is a military from Jaguar Battalion, you can see it. You remember when DOS is shouting, oh, he will just go and buy army uniform. He is a student of Jaguar Battalion. That is what you have seen. And what we are bringing to you is what they call facts and the figure of this very movement we are into. We are doing it because Chukwokika Abiyama asked us to be bringing it like this. Everything we do, we bring evidence. You hear him when he spoke about Elizabeth Pottasov. This is the person who told Finland to go and declare their own independence. But Russia did not recognize it. When PM say he will bring Finland to Biafra, Finland are enjoying today. Finland is recognized as one of the best countries in the whole world. Are you understanding now? Finland is recognized as one of the best countries in the whole world. And these are the names, the people he mentioned their names in the history book. This is how they do them. This is how they bring them out. Are you understanding now? And this is when the chaos begin. Everything he said inside this place, we made the research. That is how we do our own analysis inside 555 vision, 555 vision that serve Biafra with every truth and the honesty. So Biafrans, when you hear that PM is a military, that is where he trained. This is the place that he went to school of military, Jaguar Battalion. And the Jaguar Battalion has entered the history of Biafra for your own notice. In case, if you care to know about history, that is just the history we brought to you. As we go on, letting the Biafran Liberation Army to know that all eyes is upon them. ORB said that all international communities should turn their network on Biafran land because the Biafran Liberation Army, Biafran Resistance Fighter, Biafra Sniper Squad the Marine of Biafrans, the Air Force, all of them are coming to defend the gods of the land and the land of their birth, their motherland. If media team has not disappointed Biafra, Biafran liberation armies can never disappoint Biafra. Are you understanding? And one thing PM ask you is to come and support financially. We don't need military again. We have enough military. What we need is finance. You can donate, you can bring IOU, you can loan Biafra in order for them to defend you. Listen, why we are so proud on what we are doing, we have assessed PM, we go beyond and studied him. We studied him, we know all the qualification he has before we stand strong. Even before we took oath to defend Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, we assessed him. We assessed him deep. Then we take oath that this man will not disappoint us. For this reason, we will not disappoint him until the fighter will come. If you want to know the energy of His Excellency, the commander of Chief of Armed Forces of Biafra, where his power and the energy is coming from, look upon this logo, you will see it. Biafran government is not hiding any secret. Everything we are doing is on the public. And the one we will bring it and show it to you. So you will see where it is coming from. We are not joking. We bring documents. Anything PM will do, he will ask people to come and vote. And today, 50 million people, 50 million Biafrans has mandated him an obligation to give us Biafra. Do you know what we are talking about? What we are talking about is this, that even PM himself doesn't have choice again. Copy this area, send it to any government in exile. PM don't have choice again than to give us Biafra. 50 million people gave him mandatory. So whatever that is coming, he is acting under this authority. 50 million people has given to him. But do you know one thing that is very good in this thing? One thing that is very good in this thing is gold is valid to those that know the value of gold. That is the simple thing. Some people, you can give them your vote, they will misuse that vote. But to PM, before me, myself, will sit down and give my vote and my support to him, I know he is not going to mess up my vote. And your own vote is also here. And which assurance are we giving to you? PM can never disappoint you. He knows the value of this. He said that if he has missile, he will throw it on the Nigerian terrorist countries because he is acting under the power of present day, still counting. 50 million people is after him. Say, go and give us Biafra. Are you really getting it very, very well? If you don't get it, still follow us on things we are doing and things we are unveiling. Everything we are unveiling them through document, and listen a little. Document. We open documents in this place. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu says, Lovely Biafrans. Lovely Biafrans. This is how we do it. We open document. Mazen Namdekano says, if you want to hide any secret to a black man, put it in the book. And that's why when you come here and speak, we will go inside the book and they found out what you say. Then when we find it out, we will then come here and show our face to defend it. All we know is that when more than 50 million people gave someone mandate, Peter Obi doesn't have the kind of mandate. Nobody in the existence of Nigeria ever have the kind of mandate PM has. And for this reason, nobody has this thing you are seeing in this place since the creation, since the amalgamation of Nigeria. And the PM, His Excellency Babatobi Simon Ekpa, can never misuse this opportunity to giving us freedom. That is all we know, and that is we are saying for sure what we know and what we have seen. Are you getting it? So, lovers of freedom, permit us to do other things. We want to join another meeting. We are not also sleeping. Biafran Religious Freedom and the Monitoring is having meeting, and we are joining them now. Remember, when Biafra comes, the kind of teaching you will receive in your churches will be monitored by Biafran government. You will give teaching that favors the economy, the security, and the growth of Biafran people. You will not teach our people that somebody is coming from sky to save you. But the kind of things you are going to teach your own people in your own churches is something like this. So, lovely Biafrans. Do you know what it means? It means what the ORB say. ORB says, keep an eye on Biafra. Keep an eye on Biafra. And that is exactly what it means. That is what they are saying in this place. So, lovely Biafrans, we call it a day. We call it a day for now. We call it a day for now because of other things.
Biafran must rise up to make sure not even chicken will be seen in the street.
Yes. Let us put something here to justify our message today. We give message, we justify it. When we give message, we justify it according to law. We justify it according to law. Please, we need some justification. Thank you, those that is still here. But we must justify our message because of the people that is watching later. People that is watching later, they need some, they need this kind of thing. Those that is watching later need this kind of thing. So what we have just heard, PM say, what you heard him say is based on this. When the lockdown will start, world satellite will be on Biafran land, watching Biafran Liberation Army on how they will perform all they have learned, starting from day one. And this is just to try. They are bringing them out to try. So that is how we want to justify our message today. We justify it before we call it a day for record purposes. We don't come here to preach what is not here. We preach exactly what we see and exactly what is on our table. Okay? This is things that is on our table. Ikotonya days, ndewo. This is what is on our table. Biafran Liberation Army is coming to perform, to play their first match, their first league in front of Biafran people. Just test run to know how they are going to do it December 2nd. And we believe that the gods of the land is with them and they are well-trained militaries. Thank you, lovers of freedom. We call it